run in these ancient trees and around corners, and I never know what I'm going to see. I'm hopping over logs and along roots, and my mind is always engaged in the terrain that's around me. It's like I'm not going for a run every morning when I get out of bed to come out here. I really feel like I'm going on an adventure, and there's so many trails in the Bellingham area that I really rarely hit the same one, at least in the same week. So there's enough variety that it keeps it fresh, it keeps it entertaining, and just something I love to do to start my day almost every morning. The Interurban Trail starts a block from my back door in town, and it's really the artery that brings me down to the Chucknut Mountains. We are right kind of in downtown Fairhaven. Actually, the Chucknut 50K starts right here, launches us down all the way into the Chucknut Mountains along the Interurban Trail, which is just kind of a flat, old rails to trails type trail that takes you down into the mountains.
Yeah, and I mean, you work full time. As someone who works full time, it must be incredibly helpful to be able to run out your door. How often would you say you run from here?
Yeah, I'd say probably 6 days a week or 7. I'm out the back door, and within a block I'm on the Interurban Trail. The way I'm able to trail run and ultra run and still work a full-time job and be as good a dad as I can and a husband is I typically get up in the morning about 5 a.m. and I roll out the door, dark in the wintertime, getting lighter in the summer, and head out into the Chucknuts here, anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Can do speed work and do hill work. But really, for me, it's more just a kind of adventure in the morning to go out and welcome the day and smell the mist in the forest and see the sun come up. I feel like no matter what happens the rest of the day, I've already had a great day because I got a good run in the morning. And then when I come back, help get my daughter ready for school, and then I drive off to work, do that for about 8 hours, come back, and then it's time for the family. So it's going for a bike ride down to one of the parks along the water, looking over the San Juans. But that's really what this area in Bellingham affords me, is the ability to maximize my time to get running in the morning so that I don't jeopardize my professional life or my family life.
Matt.
Good. Polly, welcome to Fairhaven Runners.
Hey, thanks. Yeah. You have a beautiful store. I see a lot of decor up on the walls, and it feels very natural. I feel like in the Northwest, I think of trees and lumber, and you guys got a really cool theme going on here.
Yeah, it's a piece of Bellingham for sure. Bellingham's a very, very big running community, even down to little kids. I mean, we have a Trailblazers organization where kids who are in elementary school are now running on the trails. So lots of running and lots of local races. We probably have one almost every weekend. And it attracts a lot of people because trails are right outside your front door practically. I mean, you don't have to drive very far to get to a whole network that you can run for hours and hours.
So this is pretty cool. I see a bunch of singlets up here. What are those?
Yeah, so most of the local schools here, the high schools, come here for their running shoes, their track spikes. So we have singlets so that when the kids come in, they can see their school represented up there. They totally love it.
And you were kind enough to meet us pretty early, and the store just opened, and I don't think I've seen anything like this. Like 20 people just flooded in here. Is that?
Well, some days are like that. There's also an event in Eastern Washington this weekend called Sun Mountain. So there's a lot of people stopping by right now to pick up last minute things, socks, goos, nutrition items.
And I really like this map here. It looks like a really nice overview of what you were talking about.
It's an awesome overview, and Steve, the owner of Fairhaven Runners, created that, probably 10 or 12 years ago. Yeah, so this is actually a great overview. Obviously, you can see Mount Baker there, from Blanchard Mountain to Mount Baker, Fairhaven, and then the Interurban goes all the way down, all the way to Larrabee Park. You can run from Fairhaven all the way to downtown. All along the waterfront, there's a trail system that's been built. The South Bay Trail runs just along here. You can see here, that's the boardwalk.
Oh, great.
So you can just run along it and pretty much be on trails the whole time.
And I saw this picture right here. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's the beginning of the Mount Baker Marathon. And actually, this is the finish line. In downtown Bellingham. It's probably, early 1900s.
Yeah, so you got some history here.
Oh, there's a lot of history. It was probably the first ultra in the country, from Bellingham up to the summit of Mount Baker. And there's actually a gentleman in town, Daniel Probst, who's working on recreating that race again and getting the permitting and the trails ready for folks to be able to do that on a regular basis.
A lot of people don't even think running 100 miles is even possible. They're like, I don't want to drive 100 miles. It took us 48 hours and 17 minutes, but let's show it's possible. And that'll kind of get our foot in the door to getting permits and developing a trail system and trying to bring back this race. Here's this historic trail that was built in 1909 that was actually the inspiration for the Mount Baker Marathon, and it just been lost to time. This is right in the spirit with what they did when they hosted America's first mountain adventure race, basically. I mean, nothing else was like that, where they run from the trailhead up the glacier to the summit of a mountain and back. I've been really lucky, a lot of businesses have come out to support us. And of course, we specifically chose the ones that had beer and donuts and pizza and things that we needed along the route. So Kulshan came on board. They were one of our very first sponsors that came on board, and they were like, yeah, let's make this happen. And they donated their beer van, so when we run to the mountain, we throw all of our gear in the beer van. And of course, Kulshan is the other name for Mount Baker, so it was like a perfect time. And in fact, Dave and Chris, the owner and sales manager, on our first runs, were actually out there at our base camp crew on the mountain, waiting in the soaking tent on the side of the mountain for us. So they have been absolutely an integral part of making this run happen, which is actually called the Bellingham Mount Baker Trail, to keep it short and simple. The trail will be from the edge of Bellingham Bay to the edge of the Easton Glacier. It's gonna be about 50 miles long. And then if you want, then there's 4 miles of glacier travel, which goes up about another 5,000 feet to the summit.
If that's not enough for you.
So
if just tagging the glacier is not enough for you, you can rope up and climb to the summit. But this year we're actually going to open it up to other people who want to come run it and claim the fastest known time.
I'll be here.
And in fact, Kulshan has donated the keg for us that we've polished up, and that we're going to put your name and time on. And it's going to be the Kulshan Keg Trophy. And so everyone who does the route from Bellingham to Baker and back on their own
will be immortalized?
Will be immortalized on the Kulshan Keg. Really what we want to do is get more people out into the mountains. And so we started Cascade Mountain Runners, which is a nonprofit, to raise funds for the trail and to get them kind of inspired. Because, a lot of people do their normal loop every day, and what we're trying to do is get people to go out a little further.
Yeah, trail running, I just like to be able to go see new places. Every trail is different and unique in its own way. It's kind of my vehicle to get to go explore the world. I'm able to go to races or go do on adventures in New Zealand and Patagonia and over to Europe. So I feel very lucky to be able to go and run in these awesome places and just meet people who all share a common passion. We all love the outdoors. We love being active in the outdoors. And that's why I really love to trail run, and I like the people who do it. So my daughter Autumn, she's 4.5 years old, and she's getting really excited about running. And that's one of the cool things about all the trails around here is we can go off on a hike through some place like this, and she can bomb down the trails. Just, we're talking 100 yards, something like that, but she gets to go trail running too. So it's fun just to take her to little places in the woods like this. Just yesterday we were here on this rope swing, and she was having the time of her life just swinging across a little creek here. So I really enjoy bringing my daughter into the woods and seeing her passion for playing in the outdoors, and if she wants to run trails too, that's great. If someday we could go trail running together on some big runs, that would be my perfect day.